Hello, my amazing listeners. Thank you for joining me today. Before I dive into my message that I want to share, I want to briefly answer a listener's question that was emailed to me. It kind of goes along with what I'm actually talking about. So I figured, what the heck, let's answer this. So the question that came in was, I'm really close to my in laws, kind of question scenario. I'm really close to my in laws, or at least I have been, and I want to keep a relationship with them, especially for the kids. Now that we're divorcing, I have felt some of them distance themselves from me and the kids. This hurts because I wasn't the one who busted up our vows and betrayed trust, but I feel like I'm the one who's being blamed. I really want to stay close to them, but it feels like it's just not an option, or is it? Okay. Oh my gosh, my heart just goes out to this listener's situation, and I can totally relate. I know everyone is going to have a different take or perspective on this. However, I'm hoping what I offer today will help answer this, because what I'm really hearing in this situation is you want something to be the same as it's always been. You close to his family and your kids being close to them. But it's looking, from what you're describing, it's looking like that's changing because other people's perspectives and thoughts are changing. It's like it's like when I go out to eat with Scott. We have about 3 or 4 different restaurants. I know you're like, going out to eat, what does this have to do with anything? Hang in there with this metaphor because this is what's coming to my mind when I read this listener's question. But Scott and I have about 3 or 4 different places that we like, that we generally go to eat. And in each of those different places, I have like one thing that I always get, right? Like, if we go to this restaurant, that's what I'm eating. If we go here, that's what I'm eating. Doesn't matter what's on the menu. I know exactly what I want. So I don't even look at the menu half the time at some of these places because that's what I want. That's what I'm going to get. We went to this one place the other night and I told the waitress what I wanted. And she says, "Sorry, we've changed the menu and that item is no longer available." I literally went through all the stages of grief in like zero point 0.4 seconds. Like, I was shocked, sad. I went into bargaining. Like, we should have gone somewhere else. See, I knew it. If I liked one meal too much, then they'd get rid of it. Of course they would. Depressed, slumping over in my chair in my booth, folding my arms, holding this new stupid menu, and now angry. Like, how dare you change the menu? What the hell? Don't they know that I get the salmon every single time? And I'm looking at this new menu with these new options, but I'm really not even looking at them. You know what I mean? Like, I look at them, but really, I'm looking for any item that remotely resembles the old item that I really wanted. Like, maybe she's wrong. Maybe she just doesn't know this new menu. Or go back to maybe bargaining a little bit. That childhood part in me also wants me to know right now, as I'm saying this, that I'm being really dramatic, but I'm going to tell that part to just sit down and be quiet because I'm talking. Okay, but for real, this is so much of what happens in our brains with other things in our life, right? Even the big things. Here we are going along in life and we think we have the menu figured out. Hell, you've got the menu memorized, and then betrayal happens and someone freaking changed the menu and you didn't know about it. You weren't consulted. You weren't prepared for it. And now you're thinking you picked the wrong restaurant to begin with. And this should have never even happened. And now we're grieving. Now, look, I am not minimizing the seriousness of what we experience going through betrayal by comparing it to a recent menu switch that I had. But for me, I like learning in visuals and metaphors, and things like that can help make concepts and principles a little bit more tangible. Betrayal, when the menu, quote, is changed and you weren't consulted, you didn't know about it, but you chose to walk into the restaurant excited to partake, and then bam, everything changed. And now you can't even see the options in front of you because you're grieving. Your eyes are glazed over and your brain is trying to figure out something on that new menu that looks remotely similar to what you had. This is why having someone tell you things like, hey, just think about how fun dating's going to be now that you're getting divorced, or now you can be free and healthy. And I'm sitting over there like, no, I don't want to be free. I don't want to be healthy. Give me the damn key lime pie. That's what I've always had. Today, I want to help those of you who are holding a new menu. Perhaps you've been staring at it for a while and you're actually reading through options now, but you just can't decide. Like, list sounds good, but what if the sauce is too spicy? It might give me heartburn. Or this item looks promising, but what if it's undercooked and now I get sick and die? Or we just keep looking and waiting for this one item, this one life decision to jump off on the page and choose us, right? Like, choose me, choose me. I'm going to guarantee that you're going to like me and it's going to be healthy and won't cause any pain or bloating after. I can guarantee it. That's sometimes how we approach these new decisions. Like, I want that. I want that one that's going to choose me and guarantee me no pain. Yes, please. Right? And it just doesn't exist. I know. But look, menus change. Restaurants go out of business. Managers get fired and new ones come in and change the staff. It happens. What I want to offer you here through this silly metaphor is that if you are sitting there waiting for life to happen to you and choose you, you're going to be waiting a long damn time. You're going to stay stuck and not get fed and not live. So we want to make a choice. And I want to offer you 5 things that's going to help you make a decision to pick something off the dang menu. Okay, first, wherever you are at in your journey, whatever you're finding yourself stuck in, where you're having a hard time accepting that there is a new menu, like me sitting there in that booth and I'm just arms folded and pouting because I'm in denial. Like, no, she just doesn't know what she's talking about. She's new too, right? You're just really fighting and really angry that there's this new thing and it's not what you wanted because the thing that you really wanted isn't available anymore. Let's just first identify that. So that's number 1. What is no longer available? What's no longer available for me to choose? And what is it that I was expecting when I walked into this restaurant? What was I expecting to be? I was expecting my salmon and lime rice to be on that menu. Okay, let's make this more real. I was expecting my in-laws to do what they said they would do all these years. Jokingly even, that if anything ever happened, we'd keep you and get rid of him. That even if things turn out and you have to do what you have to do to stay safe, we support you, we love you, and you will always be my sister. You will always be like a daughter to me. When that is no longer on the menu, we have to be able to see it and identify that specifically. And I'm going to go back and use this listener's question to go through these steps here. Okay. So that's what would be number 1. We're identifying that what is no longer available for me to choose is how this family that I considered like my own flesh and blood is no longer available because they're thinking and feeling differently about the situation and about me. It's not what I was expecting. It's not what I believed, but it's what's real. Okay, number 2, this is when we want to lean into the acceptance of that reality. This means moving out of denial and stop staring at that menu, waiting for something to magically pop back on there. Right? So this looks tangibly not giving all of the power to those in-laws and standing around pacing and waiting for them to maybe change their mind. Now, that doesn't mean things can't change in the future, but today, right now, there are people who are backing away. There are people who are creating some distance. There are people who are not doing what they said that they would do. Scott will patiently wait for me while I'm literally doing this and just kindly remind me like, hey, babe, the salmon's not coming back. And it's just so sad. And with the acceptance that that is not coming back on the menu in this moment, then with that acceptance comes number 3, and that's grieving. Let yourself feel all the feels, all the emotions around this not being an option, that what you want is no longer available. This is the reality, and you get to feel whatever you want about it. Remember, no emotions are bad here. Spend sacred time in this place. You had healthy expectations around what your marriage was going to look like. You had healthy expectations of values and honesty and safety and trust. You believed that what you were being told was available to you. You believed that what was happening in the kitchen was a healthy preparation for your future that you were planning on. This is not to be bypassed or rushed through or minimized. It's sacred work to grieve. And then number 4, as you are holding these new options in front of you, we have to wipe our eyes and actually see it. So just like the waitress hands me my new menu and I'm staring at it, but I'm not really reading through not really looking through and thinking that these are options for me because I'm still stuck in the past. I'm still stuck wanting what isn't available to me. I'm trying to control a situation that I have zero control over. So I've got to wipe the tears from my eyes of sad, and your marriage or your idea of perhaps being a stay-at-home mom, your financial security, your home, your friends, your in-laws, family, a lot of those are off the menu now. They're not options. And there are new options to see. So we need to start looking at those new options. I know there's a lot of emotional charge that's going to come with that. And that's why I'm walking you through these steps. We've got to see things as they really are, see that they're not an option, accept the reality of that. Remember, there's a difference between accepting and approving. Okay. Accepting is just seeing things as they really are. And then grieving. I definitely remember going through the grieving process for a long time around not being able to stay home and do the things that I wanted to do in my home and with my children, all those things that were on the original menu, right? All the things that were planned. I had that thing memorized. I knew exactly what that was going to look like for me in my future. I knew exactly when I was going to go back to work. I knew all the things on that menu. And so there was a lot of grieving around that. There was a lot of grieving around not having the support that I thought I would have. Friends who I thought were my friends, all of a sudden, no contact, no communication, no empathy, no seeking to understand, even believing the lies that my ex was telling. All of that, all of the items under the friend section of the menu were just gone. Your support, people who used to be your in-laws. So we need to look for other ways to get support. And perhaps this includes having someone help you read the options on the new menu, right? And this is where coaching can be so useful, to have a coach help you filter out all of the old thoughts and the options that your brain is still holding on to, all of the thoughts in ways that your brain's still trying to control things that are not available to you, and help you start to see this new menu, what's right in front of you, these options that just can't see right now. And so number 5 is to try. Just try it. How many of you have said this to your kids when you've made dinner and you put the food right in front of them and they're like, ew, that looks disgusting, or I'm not trying that, or I hate that, and they've never have tried it. And now you're just like, just try a bite and see if you like it. It's okay if you don't, but at least try it. Okay, let's practice what we preach, mamas. Just move forward, taking one step at a time. And if you don't like it, guess what? You don't have to eat it. You can choose something else off of the menu. This is empowerment. This is being the chooser in your life. And this is creating something new with the options that are available to you. I talk a lot about staying in your control bubble and what's in your power. And when you recognize what really is in your power and you start reading everything on the menu, start seeing all the options, right? I know you're probably so sick of this metaphor. I notice that when I go to a restaurant, there are certain sections of the menu that I don't even go to, right? I don't even go to the steak side of the menu. I'm not going to eat steak out in a restaurant. We're hunters. We live off of venison or elk. So that's not even a part of the menu that I look, right? And so my brain is just trained to not even go to that section of the menu. Our brain does this with life as well. And if you never even looked at the part of the menu that says jobs, then your brain's not even going to go there, right? Your brain is like trained habitually to bypass that section of the menu. If you've never done finances before, your brain is not used to going to the finance section of the menu. And so to have to pay bills or to make money and manage and balance checkbooks, or I guess we don't balance checkbooks anymore, but I'm old school. Like none of that was on your radar when you opened up the menu. And now we've got to retrain our human brains to look at that section. And it's going to feel uncomfortable, and it's going to feel, like for me, when I look at the section of the meat, I'm like, ugh, right? It's going to feel gross, painful, disgusting. I don't want to look at that part. That doesn't look desirable at all. But you're missing options. You're missing options that are available to you. So what I want to offer you here is that this part of trying definitely requires accepting the emotion that comes with trying. This is what keeps us from trying, is the emotion, the fear, the uncomfortable, the fear of rejection, all of those emotions, fear of failing, fear of being wrong, getting it wrong. So we want to bring those emotions along with us as we try. My stepkids, we were making them try Brussels sprouts. We cooked them a new way and had them try it. My little stepdaughter took a bite of the Brussels sprout. Her whole face was just painful watching her face. Her whole body was tense and tight. She's just like, ugh. There was a lot of negative emotion as she's opening her mouth trying to taste this Brussels. But she tasted it. She tried it. She actually liked it. The other two hated it, but she liked it. It comes with that negative emotion. You have everything inside of you to do this. You want to start a business? You're an expert in what you know already. You don't have to know all the things outside of you. You don't have to spend years reading books. Try starting with believing that you're an expert in what you know, and what are some steps that you can take with that right there. If I'm an expert in what I know, then what's my next step? You want to update your resume? And that's like a section of the menu that you haven't touched for years or eons. All right. You've been working 100 jobs in a 24-hour period as a mom. You've got what it takes. Believe in you. Trust that you've got your own back and that you can do hard things, because you are doing hard things. So to the woman who wrote in, what's on the other part of the menu? Maybe it's a support group. And what emotions come up as you consider reaching out and joining a support group? And if you could allow yourself to feel those emotions, to get new support, you wanted this family to support your children, to support you. That's not available on the menu anymore. So let's turn the page. Let's see what part of the menu we haven't even thought to look at because we didn't need to. What are those options? And let's take a look at that. Let those emotions be there. And what's your next step? What's your next choice as an empowered woman? All right, everyone, thank you for being with me and other women supporting each other along the way. I will see you next time.